Welcome to Stirred Up.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Heather.
We're two Midwest corporate pros and moms juggling boardrooms by day and ballparks by night.
But here, it's happy hour, and we're trading conference rooms for craft beer. This season, expect more tea spilling and real talk.
About the important stuff and the bullshit that comes with it. This is our version of Girls Night Out.
And you're not just invited, you're our VIP. It's where we throw back, talk smack, and laugh until we pee.
Where we spill a little, spin a little, and overshare a lot.
Because the only rail we're staying on is the bar rail. So grab a drink, you little party animal.
And let's get this shit stirred up.
So Alice, thank you so much for being here. You are one of our very first guests on Stirred Up. This is season 2. And we were telling Alice before we started recording that Jess and I really started season 2 thinking about going beyond brands and thinking about things that stir us up, that matter to us, that we're curious about, and where we think we want to see, change driven or attention brought. And one of the things we talked about was women. And so we've talked about this before, the first part of the season is going to be all about women, the history of women, women who've done incredible things, women who've made change, any stories that really perk our curiosity. And so when we were brainstorming this summer, Jess and I were talking about the cost of women's bodies. And I don't mean that that word has a lot of meaning, and I meant the cost in every word. So the cost of what it's like to be a woman in this country, to what it costs to maintain this fabulousness that we are, to where we can really be our and with that, Jessica really took the research from there, and that's how we found Alice. And shared.
So thank you for joining us, Alice. What we learned a little bit about you, and I can't wait to learn more, but what we learned about you is you're one of America's most successful sex workers, and that you've made a reputation for yourself throughout philanthropy and advocacy, and also helping build a reputation for the way that the industry works today. So really just trying to get an understanding from you about what we can do to learn a little bit more, and what the Stirred Up audience can grow from this. So it maybe to kick it off, just do you mind giving us a little bit about you?
So I am a legal sex worker within the Nevada brothel industry. Now, not a lot of people even realize that there are legal brothels here in America. It's only in Nevada, only in specific counties, and there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through in order to be able to join that industry. I joined back in 2015 and continue to work in that industry to this day. I've been named Bunny of the Year, Courtesan of the Year, every imaginable title possible within the industry. But at the end of the day, that's not really what my passion is. It's never been about the success, the number one. My passion is in people, those who come to see me, how I can help them change their lives for the better and set them up for success in their intimate lives moving forward.
One of the aspects about that that I found to be compelling in the past was that much of the work that you had done was, and it sounds like still do, is in the brothels in Nevada, right? That's the only place that it's legal in the United States?
Yes, that is correct. When it comes to full service intimacy, which is the full shebang, as it were, that is the only place in America where it is 100% legal to perform that service for money exchanged. Sure. Now, keep in mind, sex work is a umbrella. Right. There's all sorts of different things that fall underneath that. OnlyFans creation, of course, is the one that most people are familiar with, which is also something that I'm very familiar with and have been creating in since 2020.
Okay, yeah. How has that diversified your business? How do you think about that as your business model? And is that something like you see as a good thing, or, how do you consider that as a part of your business?
I'm in the very unique position where I was privileged enough to already have an online presence before beginning on OnlyFans. I already had a successful YouTube channel, a successful X Twitter account, a presence on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm able to be very vocal about what I do. I'd previously been featured in mainstream media. I had the opportunity to appear on Lisa Ling, all of which really gave me a leg up when it came to entering the content creation sphere online.
You've been
Now,
perfect for years.
yeah, and keep in mind, the only reason I made the transition in 2020 was because the legal brothel system was completely closed down. As we all know, the pandemic, it shuttered the industry for over a year. It was closed for a year and a half, the longest industry closed in Nevada. It was the very last thing to be allowed to reopen.
Really? Oh my God, why?
We had smoking and drinking in the Nevada casinos before we allowed the Nevada brothels to open. And during this time frame, we received no benefits. We were ineligible for any sort of small business loans. We didn't get the Paycheck Protection Program. We were entirely left on our own as independent contractors. And prior to the pandemic, many of us earned above a threshold that also made us ineligible for any sort of incentivized checks that were being sent out. So we very much so were kicked out on the street and hung up to dry. And so I was very, very fortunate to have the ability to pivot to online work. But I think it's important to mention that a large part of that transition was due to the fact that my already very successful 7-figure business was no longer legal to operate, and there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. I mean, I even sued the governor of Nevada in an attempt to get the industry reopened. And boy, it was not fun, to say the least.
Yeah.
So Jess read, and I prefer you ask the question, but Jess read a lot about what you've done for the industry as a whole. And it is one of the industries that is predominated by women, where we found it just incredible that it's where we do get to extract premium. Jess sent me something today where I think 100 and what was the women leaving the workforce today?
Hundreds of thousands
of women are leaving the workforce, and men are getting jobs. And so to be in an industry where your value, your dollar premium is, I'm assuming, more than a male's. But also, what is the cost to that? When you're a high premium valued something, there is an other side to that. So just trying to understand your experience on both ends, from a side of a woman who predominates the industry, but the world is still ran by a man. And I'm not sure I articulated myself well, but I'm just trying to understand your human experience, in particular that of as a woman.
Oh, yes. And I mean, that makes perfect sense. For example, the most successful year of my career, I earned $1.2 million is how much service I provided. The cost of legally being able to provide that service in Nevada starts at 50%. Half of what I earned goes directly into the pockets of the brothel owner, who at that time, as you said, was a man. So first off, 50% of my earnings, half of what I worked for, is immediately gone. Now, of the amount I have received, 30% goes to taxes. Very understandable. We all pay our taxes. We are all good American citizens doing our duty. So 30% goes to taxes. Out of that amount, I now have all of my business costs. I am required to see the doctor every 7 days and pay out of pocket for this privilege. I am not able to use my insurance for this. I have to pay for it every 7 days to the tune of $100 to $130. Oh yeah, every 7 days. If you want to work during that week, you have to update your STD and STI testing. You have the cost of your legal license. We pay for the privilege to work in this industry, so we too must obtain a license. So we have to fill out a very detailed background check, consent to an FBI, fingerprinting. In the county that I currently work in, we do that 4 times a year. We
Wow.
cannot even regulate gun ownership 4 times a year. This is exclusive to the Nevada brothel industry, and that I want to say is like $120, something like every single
Every
quarter.
time.
So
Oh gosh.
when you think about trying to do things in a legal way and the loopholes, I understand as I get to know you as a human why you would want to do all of those things and how you're driving change in a real way. And someone's got to feel the pain, right, to drive change for who comes next. And I see that in your spirit. But gosh, it would be easier to just do it illegally, wouldn't it? And put your money in your back pocket. Like, what is the struggle there? And how do you think it's young? I don't mean young in age, but young in career, that doing it the way you do it is the right way to do it.
And here's the challenge. The reality is within the Nevada brothel industry, there is a very high rate of ladies that do not find long-term success. Ladies that try to find success their first 2 weeks, let's say. Most brothels have a minimum amount. You have to come, stay on the premise for 2 weeks in order to kind of see if you're going to be a good fit for the industry, if you actually enjoy this type of work. And by all means, if you don't like it, you can leave early. Like, they're not holding you there for
like LSD community, like shit, right? You can get the hell out of there if you want.
Oh, easy. Yeah, you can just say, yeah, no, not for me.
Got it. Thank you.
Technically speaking, ladies could go into debt to the house in that they bill their ongoing expenses to the house and have them deducted from the amounts that they earn. So if a lady is starting and can't, say, afford the amount for her sheriff's card, afford the amount for the doctor bill, rather than paying it up front, she could then pay that, owing it to the house. However, keep in mind, the house is also charging a daily amount to each and every single lady in order to work there. This ranges from $40 to $80, depending on the particular brothel. And so depending on how many ladies they have in the house at the time, it could be 5 ladies, it could be 25 ladies. So the house is also profiting off of this daily rent. The ladies are also accruing this ongoing balance that is, of course, counting against the 50% that is actually their daily earnings. So as you can imagine, it can be very difficult for ladies to find footing within those first couple of weeks.
What makes a lady successful? How do they get that footing?
It really takes a lot of hard work and marketing in advance on behalf of the lady. If, let's say, you already have adult industry experience, you can lean on that existing following and invite them into that environment. So let's say you're a cam girl and you've never offered in-person services before, you can reach out to that audience, mention that you will be available for this time frame, and that will give somebody a leg up. Now, if somebody doesn't have that audience, they almost have to work twice as hard to now establish and build one. They have to market on all the social media platforms. They have to be working their little tush up, taking all the different selfies and angles,
Literally,
posting them all over the internet. And that's just as important as her work at the actual physical location of the ranch. That marketing is essentially an unpaid labor, the time cost of being able to do this type of work. And of course, you have hair, nails, makeup, all of that also is an ongoing thing. Skincare, many ladies indulge in things like Botox, plastic surgery. Some ladies get big boobies. Like, all of these things, of course, are additional cost item lines, some optional, some not so optional. Realistically, what it takes to make money in this industry is giving it your all and investing in this industry. You need to put in the effort to do your hair and your makeup. You need to present yourself in a way that is going to be attractive and alluring to men. Not what you want, but what is going to be attractive to the people that you are hoping to entice.
Mhm.
And that's not a negative thing. This
Right.
simply means if you, for example, are wanting gentlemen to take you out on dates and cuddle and watch movies, you may present yourself in a way that is more soft and mean and feminine versus, say, you are a porn star and you want to communicate this, and you may choose to wear some little latex and some fishnets, and you may do your makeup a little bit more dark and put your hair up tall, like
Mhm.
all those little minor signaling things
Makes sense.
will help to attract the people that you are looking to connect with. And knowing who you want to connect with is also part of what it takes to
So in
be.
business, we call this your target customer and your brand experience.
It's so interesting. And so I see for you, what I'm hearing from you, it's significant. Like what I'm hearing is like you are building your business no other way than anybody else would build a business.
Mhm.
And there's a cost to a piece of that, but there's also a skill to a piece of that. And
Yes.
so when young women come into the industry, right, a lot of that comes from trial and error. I think. Couple questions for you on that. Since digital has changed everything, what is that? Where are you spending your time? And and again, what is the market demanding of you, and where does Alice like to spend her time? Is it digital experience or is it in-person experience?
Yeah, I love that.
The reality is, if I wanted to go back to full-time legal brothel work available 365, 24/7 by appointments, I could easily do so and have myself booked 365, 24/7. But I simply do not have the desire to do that anymore. I enjoy it. And the reality is, what I have found is I can have a better experience both for myself and for the person I'm with. If I'm more selective about who I'm with, I see fewer guests, I work less time in person, and instead spend some of that time creating for the broader audience that somebody who also gets to connect with me one-on-one also gets to participate in. So if anything, they get more access to me. They still get the one-on-one connection. And I also have the time to spend at home on my farm, taking care of the goats and the horses, and also prioritizing myself too.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
at this point in my career, I'm really fortunate enough where I am able to have a second
You earned it.
Yeah.
Earned it, girl.
business creating content. Most people don't have a second six-figure business. Like that is something that it took a lot of work to build, and at the same time does take a lot of work to maintain, because that is a second full-time job I am doing on top of my other full-time job, on top of all of the unpaid advocacy I generally do for the adult industry, both the brothel work, the online creation work,
That's a
etc.
good
It is. Okay, so I do want to, so can you give us paint the picture a little bit about like either by like portion of income or portion of time, up to you how you want to describe it. I'll leave that at your discretion. But can you give us an idea of like how much is in person, how much is it dates? Like I hadn't even factored what the in-person experience you're kind of describing is. So if you can paint that picture a little bit, how much is digital? And then I'd love to know more about advocacy. So how much of that time is that, and how do you how do you actualize that?
So right now it's about 50-50 between time I spend in person with guests, time I spend online in content creation, whether that's photo shoots, filming myself, doing video dates one-on-one with somebody, phone calls with something, anything that is not physical in-person labor, I put as kind of that other 50% as compared to the 50%. And income realistically is split about the same to kind of reflect that time and energy I spent in each category. If I spend more time in one, the income tends to swing one way. If I spend more time in the other, the income tends to swing the other way. So I do have some flexibility to kind of balance, which is quite nice, and adjust how I work in response to the environment around me, my personal desires, which is quite nice. And of the time that I'm spending with my guests, personally, I'd say 90% of that time is something called the girlfriend experience. And the girlfriend experience is something that's very, very popular. It's also become very, very common. Everyone, however, does something different. Like
Mhm.
there's a million companies that sell soap. Some sell soap for $5, some sell soap for $250. There's a really big difference.
Yeah.
And that's also true within the girlfriend experience. I tend to specialize in a really intimate, personal, curated experience that is designed to please my guest, bring them what it is they're looking for, achieve any specific milestones or goals that they want to accomplish, and then also speaking towards their desires for long-term intimacy, whether that be establishing that long-term connection between the two of them, between the two of us, between the two of them in the case of couples, or between them and somebody else in the future if they're looking to get into a relationship with another person. Kind of giving them the tools that they need and the skills to be a better lover, really, going forward.
Okay, so you talk a lot about your guests, and I'm so interested. Who is your guest?
It's everybody. It literally is everybody. Where I work, the legal age to be able to participate in services is 21. Some counties, it's 18. I used to work in another county that was 18. Right now, that county is 21. So it's 21 and up. There is absolutely an age minimum. But other than that, everybody. I see men, I see women, I see people who are trans, I see couples, I've seen throuples, I have seen people in wheelchairs, I've seen people who use alternative communication devices, I've been with somebody who's deaf, somebody who's into super kinky stuff, I've been with somebody who's into balloons, I've been into a million different role play scenarios, you name it. I've been there with somebody and probably have experienced it. Nobody is kind of off bounds for who chooses to see sex work. It's everybody, and what they do is really anything. It's really open to the imagination.
Is there something in the commonality of the human or the spirit, or is that all over the place too?
It is all over the place. Some people come, and this is a one-time thing. They want to lose their virginity. They want a threesome before they get married with their wife. They want to have oh gosh, this is kind of funny, but one person, their big thing is I want to be with a redhead, a blonde, and a brunette at the same time. Right? We can do that. Absolutely. That is on the table. You want to cover me in chocolate pudding? Beautiful. Let's not clog the jacuzzi, but I'm gay, man. Very, very open-minded. And so don't ask me what chocolate pudding guy's particular desire was and all of that. But from my understanding, he left feeling super fulfilled and super cool. I never had that experience before. I had that to my bucket list of things I never knew I had on my bucket list, but have now experienced.
So,
it didn't even faze me. That's how normal it is for people to be able to come into this industry with whatever it is, whatever it is. And I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to stigmatize you. I'm not going to say, chocolate pudding guy. I would absolutely never in a million trillion billion years ever no, chocolate pudding guy, he's a G. We're buds. Big fan, big fan.
But when you see that people are hiring it legally, you don't worry. Do you worry about your safety? I guess that's the question, right? I love your approach of I don't judge anything, right? This is a human experience between two people. This is an exchange, right? But in terms of safety and all of those things, do you worry about that legally? And what's your worry legally versus illegally? And I think that gets us to the piece of your advocacy work.
So when people think of safety and risk, they usually are thinking of one or two things. The first thing they're thinking of is BDSM, the whips, the chains, the tying the girls up with the ball gag and the whole kinky red room of pain, 50 Shades of Grey thing.
And
We
it's
do. We have a dungeon. It is everything you imagine. It is red and black and kinky, and there's ropes and all of the things. And if you want to use that room, there has to be a second lady who is not participating, just hanging out,
you pay for her.
watching. Bingo. Yes.
Right.
And her time is also compensated, and her job is to just
Make sure you're
be
safe.
there. Safety. She is there for safety purposes.
And the
Now,
girl,
if the
the girl-
gentleman is the one who's getting tied up, like, we don't necessarily need a witness unless you want to be witnessed. Like,
My mammogram today when she was squishing my boobs, that I was into, what did I call it?
BDSM.
BDSM. And
What
she
did
was
I
like,
call it?
I don't judge. And she got all flushed. I was like, oh, I'm actually not, but I think you are. Oh, that hurt though. They squashed them pretty. It didn't hurt, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was going to be as intense as it was, although I was prepared for it to be more intense.
That doesn't make any sense.
When your grandmother tells you a story, it
Yeah,
was like,
how brutal it is.
and everyone's like, oh, it's no big deal. But on a woman's pain scale, like I have
Yeah.
a very high pain tolerance.
Right.
I birthed the things, you know what I mean? We've
Right.
done the things, I had
Right.
the hysterectomies. But they were squeezing that for a while, and it was kind of the angle, and it was just like uncomfortable.
You'd rather not.
I'd rather.
you're like, oh, no, this really, I get it. This is not
This is
fun.
not the kind of pain that brings any sort of pleasure. Just basically.
No, very non-sexual.
Yeah, we're not even
Non-sexual
tickling.
play.
We're not even tickling. When you think about safety, though, okay, so part of that angle is, so when you offer the girlfriend experience, do you leave the brothel? Like, what are the terms of when you go on dates? Like, do you know you're safe out in the world with the date? Like, how does that work too?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Is that's kind of the second portion of it is like, rather than the fear of the activity, the other fear and the safety factor then becomes the gentlemen themselves. Yeah. First off, I always like to lead with this. I've never experienced anything negative in terms of violence from my guests. I've never had any personal problems within the Nevada brothel industry. We don't really run into that because it would be ridiculous for a gentleman to be spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to not behave himself in a legal environment in which assistance is a button push away. Every single brothel has a button, not going to disclose where, but a button. The ladies know where, and they're the only ones who need to know where it is, and that will summon help.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But you've never had, and that's what I was going to, and that is probably your decision versus legal versus illegal. Your safety is a piece of that, or help me understand why you chose, because you could certainly make a lot more money if you wanted to do this a different way.
Maybe over $1 million.
I mean, certainly.
Oh,
so
yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. It will all make sense. So, like, keep in mind, I've never experienced anything negative from men.
Mm-hmm.
To answer the question of, can you leave, go out on dates? It depends where you work at. All of the laws are by county. I'm sure you've noticed, whether it's 18 or 21, whether you stay or you can go, what the cost is, whether you license per quarter or if it's once a year. Everything is subjective depending on where you work. Some counties do allow you to go out on dates. Again, the same logic applies here. Guy is not going to be spending thousands upon thousands of dollars, and now we are transcending into the tens of thousands of dollars to go out on a date with a beautiful woman, to not treat her like anything other than the princess that she
tens
is.
of thousands of dollars. Fucking right.
It is just not happening. It is.
Mic drop on that one.
I mean, it is just the reality of it.
Over the damn bridge, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is definitely something that you don't have to offer. Ladies are not required to go out on dates with anybody. They're not even required to go out on dates. They could just charge somebody tens of thousands of dollars to hang out on the location itself. Yeah. There's plenty of ladies who charge that at the locations who are unable to go and travel on dates. So, like, keep in mind that whether or not somebody goes on a date or not isn't necessarily reflective of cost, so much as is she choosing to do this activity or that activity based off of what's permissible. And it's certainly fun to be able to go out and about and have dinner and see shows and have all of these nice
everybody
experiences.
Yeah, everybody wins there.
Yeah. And like,
go ahead.
the real benefit of legality is twofold. And it's not safety in either of the categories. It's not safety for men. It's not safety from kink or BDSM or the activities. It's safety from the law. That is truly what it is that I am paying the premium for legality. That is it. I want to be able to own a farm and have my animals and pay for my hay and be able to go through the traditional American financial system. I am paying an outrageous premium for the privilege of legality. That is truly the benefit. And for me, frankly speaking, the primary benefit. Now, with that said, there certainly are lots of benefits that come from the Nevada brothel industry. For ladies that are brand new, the Nevada brothel industries offer an opportunity to learn this industry. They already have clientele, so you're able to come in and there's already people who are interested in you, what your services are, versus an independent lady where she's going to have to figure out literally everything for herself. There is no environment for her to work in. There is no deposit system. There's no safety button. There's no established website and email system for her to start receiving clientele. All of that is going to have to be something she does independently. For some ladies, that's worth it. They want to go down that route, stay independent, go for it. Other ladies see the value in going down the legal route and learning how to do so in a way that enables them to make thousands upon thousands of dollars. Personally, I'm in a really unique position in that I've been in this industry for 10 years. I'm extremely well established. Frankly speaking, I have the ability to out-earn the entirety of some rural brothels all on my own. Like, I am an anomaly within this industry, and as such, I am somebody that could afford the cost of taking on my very own Nevada brothel license, affording the cost to run my own location, if that was an option.
Oh, wait. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
If that was an option.
Okay,
Oh, that's right. In the state of Nevada, there can be no new brothels. There are no new brothel licenses.
So somebody just controls all the keys.
The only way to own a Nevada brothel license is to purchase it from an existing operating location.
Or like Taylor Swift and get your original records back.
It is, you can't even get a business loan, mind you. You have to have tens of millions of dollars in liquid asset to purchase out one of these favorable locations. As you can imagine, these licenses are highly valuable and only increasing in value due to their scarcity.
It's like a medallion, a taxi medallion.
What is the monopoly of the industry? If let's say there's 100, how many brothels are there and how many owners are there?
You're so funny. You're funny. I like you. You're really funny. 100 brothels. That would be so nice if there was 100 brothels. Boy.
How many are there? And who owns them? How many men?
Under 20. And like, of those 20, 19.
And who are these men? Let's go knock.
Okay, so hold on.
Uno brothel female. One female brothel owner.
Under 20 brothels.
I'm telling you, if we
own
20
brothels, they would be so good. I mean, can you imagine how lovely they would be?
No.
They would be so pretty. Let me tell you, for starters, they would have like gorgeous aesthetics. They'd be so pretty and well kept. They would be like chef's kiss gorgeous. Like,
pretty great, Alex. We're gonna earn you this.
I gotta pour this in here for 1 second. I don't know who in their right mind saw the sex appeal in dead stuffed animals. I don't get the vision. I'm sorry, I don't want to see your hunting trophies and I'm looking at boobs and butts and beautiful women. I don't see the vision.
Same.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Jessica and I have talked about this. Like, I'm gonna wear it. It's not gonna be on the wall.
Nobody Nobody's asking for that aesthetic. We don't need hunting lodge for the Nevada brothel. Please give us luxury, gorgeous, palace vibes.
We live in the
Something
Midwest,
put
so
together.
we do know the deer aesthetic on the we do know the dead animal aesthetic really deeply.
Not it's a no for me. And here's some free advice for any guys who are listening to this. If you were taking dating pictures or something, and it's of you and a dead animal, delete that shit. Delete it. No, it's bad. Take a different picture, please, God. Ask a woman to help you.
Yeah. I can't wait to share that to the boys.
So my question is you've been in this for 10 years. What are you most proud of? And what keeps you up at night? And what are you going to do next?
Yeah, that's exactly the question I had.
What are you most proud of? What keeps you up at night? And what are you gonna do next? Besides
what keeps me up at night is definitely the future of the Nevada brothels. A lot of the current existing locations are super duper rural. So there's 20 of them, and of those 20, over half of them are in teeny tiny mountain towns without even easy access to a mainstream airport. We are talking multiple hours of driving to even get to these places.
Wow.
Rural. And as a result of this, some of those rural locations are dying. So every year, there's less and less and less brothels, which means that there's less opportunities for ladies to be able to legally enter this industry. And so there's only so many spots for ladies to work. Each license allows for X number of ladies to be on the premises at a time. It could be 5, it could be 25. It depends on the location. So at any one given time, there's a maximum number of ladies that could legally be working in the Nevada brothel industry. And by extrapolation, a limited number of ladies in the entirety of the United States that are able to legally be working at any one given time, and that number is less than 100.
Wow.
So what do you say to that then when people say, well, good, shut it down? So what is that inverse to that illegally? Because we're talking about safety and
the opportunity cost.
Well, I mean, the reality is the Nevada brothel industry is I would say probably hundreds of millions of dollars per year industry between all of the combined brothels. Mm-hmm. And that probably represents maybe 1/5 of the overall economic value of full service sex work in America between all 50 states, if we are inclusive of the independent dash illegal. I prefer to use the term independent.
I was wondering.
Criminalized, but at the same time, it is the illegal side of sex work when we're comparing legal Nevada brothels to the alternative. So it is illegal work when I'm talking about independent work, but
when I say the system is set up to be independent versus be legal, what do you say to that?
Oh, I mean, there are so many ladies that are already working in the independent industry. And the reality is if you shut down the Nevada brothel industry, all you are going to do is push the ladies in the industry directly into the independent side of the industry. And thus, all of the efforts in industry, nothing is going to change. None of the services are going to change. There's just not going to be any sort of regulations on it.
No taxes. No, literally, you're right. So tens of millions of dollars go into these rural counties who wouldn't otherwise have that tax revenue on an annual basis. That's an insane amount of money.
It would cripple Lyon County. If Lyon County, Nevada lost its legal brothels, that is 30% of their discretionary fund. That is how they fund their fire trucks, their ambulances. They put that towards all sorts of county vehicles every single year. They would not have those things if it wasn't for the Nevada brothels.
So if you controlled legal sex work in America, what would you do? Would you replicate Nevada? Would you have more independent ownership? Would you create laws so you could own your own piece of the pie? Help me understand. What does consensual legal sex work look like in America for
In a
you?
perfect world,
In a
yeah.
perfect world.
Yeah. So we can kind of look to New Zealand to kind of be like the
Oh.
shining example of what's possible. In New Zealand, we have decriminalized sex work, plus we have codified how sex work is to exist, which allows it to have access to their banking system. So sex workers are guaranteed financial access by proxy of the codification of sex work. There's minimum ages associated with it. But within that, there's multifaceted ways in which ladies have the option and the choice to work. You can work at a legal brothel. You can work at a co-op. You can choose to work independently. It is your choice how you
Just a business.
and because there is truly choice, there is no monopolized system. If a lady wants to work within the brothel industry and she agrees with the way that the New Zealand brothel industry is ran, fantastic. If she doesn't, she can work within a co-op of other sex workers that are cooperatively working together within a specific space, or she can set up her own space if she so desires and strike out on her own. Options. And I would choose to replicate that system here in America. Now, keep in mind, it's very controversial amongst sex workers to say that I support decriminalization and legalization. Most sex workers ask for pure decriminalization, which is the removal of all penalties. We should be able to do this freely as we want. It's just sex. Who cares if we get paid for it? We don't regulate sex casually. Why should we regulate sex that is paid for? We should not have laws. Unfortunately, this is capitalist America, and there is no exchange of services for money without some form of regulation. And if we want to participate in the financial systems like a typical ordinary business, just like everybody else, that means that we're going to have some sort of system of regulation, just like everybody else. And that's not something we should necessarily be afraid of, but rather work cooperatively with lawmakers to ensure whatever that legislation is actually is reflective of the things that are going to be beneficial to us and are also going to stopgap any of the potential harms, such as minors entering the industry, condoms not being used. For example, we can codify condoms into law like we do in Nevada. It's law. You have to use a condom. If we put it in law, that is the law. Period. End of sentence.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Wow, that was like
Fascinating.
fascinating. Like I'm almost speechless because you literally like dropped a bomb of chat GPT knowledge on me, but in a real human way.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that whole thing. That's what I want to do. Ideally, I want to help work towards making that possible. And that consumes every other waking hour of my time that is not spent working, eating, sleeping, playing with my animals. It's trying to look at how do we improve conditions for this industry overall in this country.
So what is the future? How will you always have that intimate connection? Do you see yourself moving more into an advocacy space, a business owner, always a little bit of both? And again, knowing that the future is yours and you can do whatever you want with it. But if you had a crystal ball, what would that look like?
I have no interest in giving up that intimate one-to-one connection. That's what I find most rewarding. That doesn't feel like work to me. That feels like the reward for all of the hard work, the marketing, the photos, is then getting to spend that wonderful time together with somebody. That's what I enjoyed the most. So I always see centralizing that within my work. And at the same time, I would love to be able to create opportunity for other sex workers to be able to be financially successful in a way that is non-exploitative. I'm not looking to ever take 50% of somebody else's earnings. If I were to be so fortunate enough to come into the money and be able to open and run my own location, I would choose to emulate a co-op in which we got to keep the lights on. We need to pay our bartender. We have to be able to renovate and make things pretty. But like, you should keep as much of your money as you can. And I'm going to keep as much of my money as I can. And then we're all going to spend a little bit of money on the location itself. Like, that feels way more appropriate than like, oh, I'm going to just be the brothel owner and you should chill. I have all these ladies for me. Like, and like, that's not to say that there's nothing wrong with brothel ownership. Like, to be a brothel owner is also very challenging. They have to undergo an insane amount of financial regulation. They have to go through like an 8-year financial background check, like a deep financial audit. Their information is publicly available and accessible. You will forever be known as your name brothel owner.
That's like the craziest thing because it's the stigma of sex. Like,
yeah,
for why?
There you go back.
I mean, like,
We haven't talked about that at all. Like the stigma of what you do. Like, how do
oh
you,
yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, also that. Like, that's just such a,
Oh, yeah.
that's just
How
so
do you
common
feel
and
about-
normal for me. I don't even like,
it's not even a thing.
I don't even get fazed by it anymore. Like, at this point, oh no, I lost another Instagram account. Okay, I'm gonna make another one. That's fine. Oh no, my YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers was deleted. Okay, I guess I'm gonna re-upload all my content. Oh no, my channel with 15,000 subscribers was now deleted. Guess I'm gonna move to Patreon. Like, it's just,
do you have any issues in your regular day, like banking? Can you know?
oh yeah, during the pandemic, I lost my bank account. That was super exciting. They closed down my business account and my personal account during the pandemic because my primary form of how I was receiving payment changed from receiving money through the Nevada brothels to receiving money through OnlyFans. For whatever reason, they decided this was suspicious. They closed all of my accounts down during the pandemic. And that was super fun because it's not like you could just go into a bank and like open up a new account. And yeah, that sucked.
And you mentioned insurance. So does like does the house provide insurance? Is that all independent?
Oh no, you pay for all of that yourself. You are an independent contractor, so you pay for 100% of all of your own business expenses, 100% of all of your own taxes, everything. The condoms, the lube, the
Oh my God.
You fucking name it, from the office supplies to the full fucking show.
the lingerie, the photo shoot equipment. Like, I've got like,
What is Team Alice? Like, how many people do you have in your corner? Is it? I mean, you're laughing at me, so it's either 100 or it's you and like a half a body. Like, what is Team Alice? Like,
it's me and like, it's like me and 2 sock puppets. It's me and the goats. I have the goats doing my tweets. They just kind of like slam their heads down on the keyboard and we call it a day. No, I mean, I do an incredible amount of it myself. There are certain things that I do have other people assist me with. Like, I do have a web developer who handles my website. So I write my blog post and I send it, and God bless, she does all the spell checking and makes it all SEO appropriate and puts the cute little picture in so it's like all formatted appropriately. And yeah, but like, I do all my own emails, all my own messages. I answer all my own messages on OnlyFans. I take the majority of my own pictures. I do all of my own filming. I set up the lights. I do my own hair. I do my own makeup. I do all the styling. Like, I pick out the full wardrobes and put together like the heels, the accessories. Yeah, I'm a whole production studio.
That's fun.
and that's why you're the most. Jessica always says that. She was like, "We're just gonna do everything ourselves." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't think I have a fucking brain
Kinda. I mean,
that can do
No
all."
one will ever care as much as you will about your business. And because my business is me, it's so
Man, it's so
deeply
human.
personal
It's
that
your-
like, I need to have my whole, like, all my fingers in it. Like, I can't just be like, oh, somebody else can write this blog post for me. Absolutely not. On what goddamn planet could somebody else possibly know what the experience is like to be with somebody? And God dang, who else has really lived that? Like,
right.
how are you going to describe what it is like to intimately connect with a shy, nervous version who's on the autism spectrum, unless you've been with half a dozen nervous autistic versions? Like,
Yeah.
I love that. Are you collecting them for sport?
No. Diagnosed, but Heather's diagnosed me. I'm
I
just
should have
kidding.
signed up when I was 14. It would have been way better. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, lady.
do you
Like,
have
I
any
really
other
feel like we
questions?
got to know you as like a super smart
Me too.
businesswoman. I would love to get to know you more as a human, like, where you came
I
from
hope
and
to
what
meet you
you
in
do.
real life.
We do.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
was, like, I know this isn't probably another day for you, but we are just super honored. You talked to
Highlight of
us.
my day.
Highlight a day.
Oh, thank you.
The highlight of my day.
This is the highlight of my fucking week.
Well, me too.
I gotta go to high school tennis after this.
No, this was an absolute dream. You are brilliant. I'm so thankful for your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we tap into the real tea, we've got a message from a new sponsor and a personal friend of mine, leadership coach Lisa Tarkington. Every single one of us can reflect on a time where they might have felt in a season of transition or feeling stuck trying to get to the next level of leadership and career development, perhaps shifting from a tactical execution to true strategic leadership. That leap can feel overwhelming and sometimes really frustrating, but you don't have to do it alone. So what Lisa does is she helps people that maybe feel stuck. Maybe they're battling from some self-doubt or just wishing they had stronger communication, wishing someone understood them the way that they're trying to convey themselves in certain areas of key leadership skills. Many people, including myself, don't realize that actually a coach is the one that can help you get to that next level. So Lisa is a personal friend of mine, and I've gotten to watch her journey helping people in all aspects of life, overcoming some of those skills that prevent each and every one of us from getting to the next level in our career is what she excels in identifying and then overcoming. She's done it herself, and now she's in the business of coaching others. So Lisa is an adventurer at heart. She's a guide by design. She's a certified coach through the International Coaching Federation with both corporate and entrepreneurial experience. She's going to put you first in guiding you to meet your goals and step fully into the leader you're meant to be. Here's the thing. Coaching works. 80% of the people who coach do report increased self-confidence that help them get to that next level. Over 70 benefit from that improved performance and stronger communication. The results do come through. Thousands of leaders have already grown through Lisa's coaching and workshops, and now it's your turn. So here's how you can find out. Head to lisatarkington.com/coaching and get your free consultation. When you talk to her, let her know that Jessica sent you or mention the podcast. Again, that's lisatarkington.com/coaching, because leadership isn't about getting things done. It's about becoming the leader you're meant to be.